Hi guys, so what are the top 5 foods for improving performance and helping build muscle and lose fat? The number 1 on the list is wild salmon. The American Heart Association recommends 3 portions of oily fish a week. So what does that include? The usual one people go for is salmon, but even on that list is black cod. I love my black cod at Nobu, I'm sure you guys do too as well. But in all seriousness, any oily fish, that can include mackerel. Salmon tends to be a good oily fish because they're not that large. They don't accumulate as much toxins such as mercury because they're a smaller fish. So big fish like tuna, they're not oily anyway, but they can accumulate toxins. So stick to salmon, and I would go for wild salmon, which I'll go through later. Wild salmon is preferable to normal farmed salmon. Omega-3s can significantly reduce the level of triglycerides in the blood. I'll be putting the study link below. This is a very, very powerful association between omega-3 and reduction in triglycerides. There are loads of studies on it, systematic reviews. Omega-3 will reduce the triglycerides in the blood. They also will reduce your LDL, low density lipoprotein, your bad cholesterol, and increase your HDL, your high density lipoprotein. Probably a lot of you guys will take it for joint health. The reason why it helps joints when you're training very hard, it reduces systemic inflammation. Systemic inflammation can cause plenty of chronic diseases such as arthritis, heart disease, cancer. So by reducing your systemic inflammation, you're going to reduce your chance of getting very, very ill. So there's another brilliant part of taking omega-3, brilliant benefit. I would also suggest taking an omega-3 supplement. So a lot of studies nowadays are showing you want to take 4 grams of EPA/DHA total per day. It's going to be very, very hard to get that from actual food. And also, if you had that much from salmon, it's going to be huge amounts of calories. Also, you're going to accumulate some toxins as well. So getting a high quality fish oil is a must. The best one to use out there's a few out there. I'll use Nordic Naturals Omega-3, Carlson's Fish Oil. The one that's UK based is by trainedbyjp.com, tb-jp.com. You take his dosage he recommends is the 4 grams EPA DHA. Also the fish oils in triglyceride form, which is much more bioavailable than the cheaper ethyl ester form. People ask me, why don't I get the Holland & Barrett stuff? The problem with that is even though it's cheaper, it actually ends up more expensive and also has more toxins in it. The reason why it's more expensive is to get the same quantity of EPA DHA, you would have to end up having 40 to 50 tabs. Most people in their diet nowadays in the West consume way too many omega-6 in comparison to omega-3. This is why we need to shift the ratio. Having too high omega-6 in your diet comparatively to omega-3 causes many different chronic diseases. Again, the study link will be below. So why do I eat wild salmon rather than farm salmon? I know it's very expensive, but wild salmon contains less dyes, less contaminants, but also contains much more omega-3 than the farmed variety of wild salmon. Wild salmon is better still by consuming 2 portions of non-wild salmon per week. You still would increase your blood levels of DHA by 50% a week. So if you don't have the budget for wild salmon, it's definitely worth still consuming your farmed salmon and your fish oil product. So number 2 on the list is cruciferous vegetables. They are self-containing vegetables such as broccoli, cauliflower, kale, and pak choy. They contain a powerful compound called sulforaphane. Sulforaphane activates NRF2 pathway, which regulates many genes, including antioxidant pathways, anti-inflammatory pathways, and genes that reduce your risk of cancer. Cruciferous vegetables are strongly associated with lower cardiovascular disease events. People in the top 20% of the population, people that ate the most cruciferous vegetables, top 20% of the population, reduced their risk of all-cause mortality by 22%. All-cause mortality is a risk of dying from any non-accidental death. So that would not include obviously being run over by a car, being murdered. But the things you actually can prevent, just having good amounts of cruciferous vegetables will reduce your risk of any cause by 22%. Definitely worth it. Even more powerful than that is consuming 3 to 5 portions of cruciferous vegetable a week. Reduce your risk of prostate cancer by 55%. Crazy, right? And then even more so, smokers who consumed at least 4 servings of cruciferous vegetables a week reduce their risk of dying of lung cancer by 55%. Again, all these studies will be linked below. Incredibly powerful stuff. Remember, all other factors removed in these studies, so this is literally just from eating cruciferous vegetables. That was the difference between the 2 groups of people they're testing. By steaming your vegetables for 3 to 4 minutes, this deactivates a protein called epithiospecifier enzyme or protein, which stops conversion into the active compound sulforaphane. But also, the heat isn't too high that it damages the myrosinase enzyme. The myrosinase enzyme converts glucoraphanin into sulforaphane. So you stop the sulforaphane not being formed, but also the enzyme that converts glucoraphanin into sulforaphane, that is not damaged by overheating the cruciferous vegetables. By doing this, you're increasing the sulforaphane by 3 to 4-fold in your vegetables. So again, steam your vegetables, do not overheat them. Crazy little trick as well is to add 1 gram of mustard seeds to your cruciferous vegetables. That will increase the amount of sulforaphane by 4-fold. Crazy, right? Again, the study link is below. Again, I suggest every single person watching this video, no matter who you are, should be consuming at least 1 portion of cruciferous vegetables a day. Reduce your cancer risk, reduces your risk of all-cause mortality. It is a no-brainer. Okay, so next on the list is grass-fed beef. So grass-fed beef is an incredibly high-quality source of protein. It's incredibly bioavailable and has a high biological value. What a biological value means when it has a high one is that for each gram of protein eaten, a high percentage of that will be laid down as new tissue. Beef protein is one of the best quality proteins out there. It is rich in heme iron. Heme iron is the most bioavailable form of iron. Meat sources contain heme iron, vegetarian sources contain non-heme iron. And heme iron is a much more bioavailable source than non-heme iron. Non-heme iron actually the absorption tends to be stopped by many different things. Heme iron, no matter what food you have it with, you'll be able to absorb a good percentage of it. Grass-fed beef and all types of beef are rich in B vitamins, selenium and zinc, and in incredibly bioavailable forms as well. Very, very easy to absorb from beef. Beef contains pretty much every micronutrient you need. There's a study below explaining all the micronutrients in beef. It is mind-boggling. Absolutely crazy. Beef is also a very rich source of creatine. Creatine helps muscle endurance and strength. I've actually got another article on a BTX website showing the importance of creatine and how it helps performance. And beef is a very rich source of that. What most people don't know watching this video is beef fats, grass-fed beef fat, is 50% monounsaturated fat. It isn't just saturated fat like people think. This is the same fat, heart-healthy fat you find in olive oil and nuts. Why do I consume grass-fed beef? The reason being is it's much higher in omega-3 than grain-fed beef, actually 6 times higher in omega-3 compared to pro-inflammatory omega-6. So if you're getting your beef, I would go for grass-fed beef. If you're having very lean beef, it doesn't really make that much difference. But if you're eating the beef fat, definitely go for the grass-fed variety as you're consuming much more heart-healthy omega-3. Number 4 is liver. Liver is a real food multivitamin. It is the most nutritious food on planet Earth. People go on and on about fruit and vegetables, but liver blows them completely out of the water in terms of micronutrients. It is absolutely shocking, actually, how many micronutrients liver contains, and in the most bioavailable form for your body. So, here are the list of nutrients in 100 grams of liver. Vitamin B12, 3,460% of your RDI. Vitamin A, 1,000% of your RDI. Riboflavin, B2, 250% of your RDI. Folate, B9, 65% of your RDI. Copper, 1,620% of your RDI. Iron, 80% of your RDI. And remember what I said before, this is heme iron, the most bioavailable form of iron. Choline, there is no RDI, but is rich in choline, which is incredibly important for brain health. People used to be worried about the high cholesterol content of liver, but dietary cholesterol has no effect on your own blood cholesterol. A link, again, is here below for the study. And there are many studies showing this. The dietary cholesterol, for most of the population, has no effect on your own body's cholesterol. Liver is very high in vitamin A, which can bioaccumulate in your body, as is a fat-soluble vitamin, unlike vitamin C that is washed out. So what I would do is have a small amount of liver each day, just 15 grams, cook it up, cut it up, put it in the freezer and just reheat the day after as a kind of multivitamin. Because you don't want to be having huge amounts of liver. Just 15 grams a day will still get you all the vitamins you need. 5 on the list is white rice. So white rice is the perfect carbohydrate source. So grains, or i.e. seeds, contain many defense chemicals because they don't want you to eat them. They want to be able to be passed on to the next generation, planted in the soil, and be able to grow again. So they contain lots of chemicals that can be damaging to your guts, particularly if you're someone that has IBS, Crohn's, or any kind of inflammatory bowel disease such as colitis. I'll try and avoid most grains, except for white rice. The reason is white rice is just amylose and amylopectin. It's pure starch, hypoallergenic. When you're weaning a baby, one of the first foods you give them is white rice. It is completely hypoallergenic. So white rice is milled, so the brown and germ are removed. So any of the enzyme inhibitors, phytates, phytic acid, they tend to be harmful to the gut or an irritant to the gut, are removed. Because then again, you're getting all your vitamins and minerals from other foods. You're not eating your rice to get those vitamins. When you're putting white rice in the diet, is there for energy as a carbohydrate source. So when we work with athletes or people that need to consume high amounts of carbohydrates, white rice is the one to go for. It is hypoallergenic and you can consume plenty of it. In conclusion, these 5 foods should be staples in your diet when looking to optimize performance and health. Wild salmon should be a mainstay in your diet, consumed at least twice per week to reduce cholesterol and improve heart health. Cruciferous vegetables are incredibly powerful at reducing the risk of cancer. Please consume at least 1 portion of cruciferous vegetables per day. And remember to cook it lightly, 4 to 5 minutes, to make sure you're getting as much sulforaphane as possible. Grass-fed beef is an incredibly bioavailable form of protein and contains much more heart-healthy omega-3 compared to grain-fed beef. Liver is the most nutritious food on planet Earth. Consume 15 grams per day as your real food multivitamin. Last but not least is white rice, which is a hypoallergenic carbohydrate source, which is excellent when needing to consume plenty of carbohydrates and does not contain all of the compounds that tend to be irritants to your gut.